Hello, my name is Lee Wardlaw, recruiting analyst with Gamecocks Group on the Rivals.com network. And on a Thursday afternoon, I'm speaking with Dion Stutts, a 6'3", three-star class of 2024 defensive lineman, and also four-star heavyweight wrestler hailing from the Memphis University High School Owls, a Tennessee 3A school, boasting a 3-2 overall record heading into the second half of their season. And based off of the scouting, I think it was Pro Process Academy up in Memphis. I know that there's some really good players up in Memphis and that area of the country. And Dion has offered some Arkansas, Austin P, Liberty, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M, but most importantly, South Carolina after a great camp visit he had on June 23rd to Columbia in the capital city with head coach Shane Beamer. So Dion, after getting that offer, my first question was, what skills do you feel like you were able to showcase to South Carolina coaches with Jimmy Lindsay, defensive line coach in particular, that earned you that offer from the Gamecocks camp in Columbia this summer?
I feel like I was able to show my skills of pass rushing because we did a lot of pass rushing. And I showed my skills that I was able to be coach because Coach Jimmy Lindsay showed me a lot of new things I did not know. And then he, fixed some stuff that I didn't know to make me a better player. And I was able to put it into action during one-on-ones, and I straight dominated. And then I also showed my relentless effort. I went out there. It was super hot. They moved camp early, so it wouldn't be too hot, but it still got super hot. And I just kept going. A lot of boys were getting cramps and stuff, but I was just relentless. I just kept going and going because I really wanted to show them what I was all about.
I hear that. And what would you say that Lindsay taught you that was most important?
I would say he showed me this good move, and when we were doing one-on-ones, it was when I would try to fit and dump, I would always dump way too early, and he showed me to force it, I would have to force it harder and keep driving, then wait for him to plant on his back leg, then dump him. And that really helped me this season with a lot of bull rushes to a fit and dump.
And after receiving that offer from South Carolina, what was your reaction?
Sir, I couldn't hear you.
Yes, sir. I said, what was your immediate reaction? What was going through your head after that offer you received over the summer?
I was very excited because I went out there. Well, my brother was having a tournament in Georgia, and we decided to go out. And I told my dad it would be smart if I go to a camp while down there, and so I did. And I wanted to go somewhere where I wasn't well known and to see if I could potentially be on SEC levels, because after a camp, after one camp, I didn't feel like I was too good, so I wanted to go out and see if I was really as good as I thought I was and see if I could potentially play on SEC levels. And so I went out and I showed my talents, and went as hard as I could in a place where I wasn't known at all. And after getting that offer, I was really excited because I felt like I wasn't going to get it. I got toured around, and then, at the end of the tour, I finally got offered, and I was very excited.
Yeah, congratulations on that. And
yes, sir.
So you were kind of putting me inside the mind of you as a player with kind of what you were speaking about with Coach Lindsay. But with fall season rolling around and halfway over now, kind of, if I'm a coach or a recruiter, if you could just kind of describe your method of attack on the gridiron in your own words.
You said my method on what?
You kind of how you approach the game.
Well, I approach every game with wanting to get better than I did, and I'm not a big stats guy, but I look at my stats from last year, and then I approach every game, and I want to do better than I did last year, which will put me in doing better overall this year than I did last year. And then I just go out there, and I just go out. I trust the way my coach has been coaching me. I trust the effort I put in at practice. And then I just go out there, stress relieve, and just showcase my talents, and then I just end up turning up. And I always tell my coaches, I was like, don't let the offense let me get hyped. Because once I get hyped, from there it's just straight domination.
Heard that. And I've witnessed Pro Process Academy Memphis at the Dallas Cowboys 7-on-7 in January 2021 and got an idea of some of the skill position talent over in Memphis. But I know there's some good talent in Memphis, but I really haven't seen it all for myself. But if you could just kind of describe the talent in Memphis, because if film is film, and if it's good film, it's good, but who you're playing against is just as important, as you know. So what would be your response to that?
Well, in Memphis alone, there's some good talent, but majority of the talent we face comes out of Nashville, and those are one of the harder teams we face. And we played Innsworth last week, and it was a straight dogfight. Our school is known to getting blown out 49-50-0 by Innsworth, and last week we did lose, but like our coaches say, iron sharpen iron. And so everyone was pretty scared. Our school kept pounding us saying we're going to get beat by, we're going to get destroyed. But everyone was scared, fearful. I look forward to it. I was ready to showcase my talents. I knew Innsworth had a whole 3-star front O-line. I knew I was going to get double teamed every play, triple teamed, held, but I didn't care. I was looking forward to it, and I just know that in Memphis we have some good talent here and there, but we face bigger threats out of Nashville, and it was a great game. We ended up losing 27-17, but we put fear in their eyes because they thought they were just gonna run through us, and they didn't. But so far in Memphis, I feel like we're the best team in the Memphis area. We facing harder people like I don't know if you really know, there's 2 other teams that have people that are 3 stars, 4 stars. That's around here, that's in our region, but we face bigger threats coming out of the Nashville area.
Okay, I hear you. I see some of the schools kind of go across state, so good to know. So, but you were talking about that underdog mentality facing some big dogs in Nashville and South Carolina being an underdog in the SEC. How do you feel like that underdog mentality of you as a high school player could maybe translate to that underdog mentality at Shane Beamer's Gamecocks?
Man, to be honest, I've always told everyone, my mom, my coaches, I actually love being seen as the underdog because everyone underestimates the underdog, and you come out there and you beat them, man. It's like they never expect it, and it's just no one's looking for the underdog to come out and kill, but they always underestimate it, and that's how it was with me in wrestling. I was always seen as the underdog. No one expected me to be good. Next thing you know, I came out, worked my butt off, and I just never been the quitting type. I've always worked my butt off no matter what. I just have the heart and drive, and I don't know why. I just keep doing it, and wrestling it showed because I was a nobody, and then out of nowhere last year I became a 4-star. I went toe-and-toe with a guy that was ranked number 2 in the nation at state. He didn't even pin me. I don't know if you know a lot about wrestling, but you have to pin someone to beat him early, and I took him 3 whole periods, and he was ranked number 2, and I wasn't even ranked yet in the nation. And I just put fear in his eyes, and then I went to nationals and got ranked top 10 in the nation as an underdog. And then as Innsworth, they saw me they watched on film, and they saw that I got offers, and I hated. They started seeing me as someone that's a potential threat, which I like earning respect, but I like to be seen as an underdog because I want to earn it. Even when I have respect, I want to seem like I don't have any because I want to earn even more. So I love being that underdog. And so even like when it comes to South Carolina, I wouldn't mind being an underdog because I want to start to I want to put fear in people's eyes. I wouldn't want to go somewhere that's already seen. I want to start as an underdog and just start killing it, and everyone learn to respect the team.
I love being an underdog too, and definitely that's something South Carolina is about. And that actually leads into my next question about the wrestling. I actually wrestled in high school, and being a football analyst, I know that on the O-line, the D-line, that's such an important thing. If you could tell the fans and the readers why how wrestling translates to football.
Well, I started wrestling my 8th grade year because I started my 8th grade year, and I started because my O-line coach, I first played O-line more than D-line, and my O-line coach saw me. He was like, you need to start wrestling because my foot grew faster than my body. I'm wearing a size 16 foot shoe size now, and I got real tall. I kept falling over. I wasn't used to my body. And he was like, you need to start wrestling, get better hands, and he said, get used to your body. So I was like, okay, and so I started doing it. And then I started tightening up and getting used to my body. And then next thing you know, I kept going into 9th grade year, and I did it last year. And it just really helped because I didn't really see how it helped me in football until 10th grade. And it really helps your hands because wrestling, it takes you have to grip onto somebody, and you got to learn how to hold somebody with just using your hands. Like, I can hold you with my hands, and it's going to feel like I'm weighing you down with my body just with my hands because wrestling has showed me and taught me how to use my hands as a weapon. And I can have heavy hands. I can have soft hands. I can move. My hands are a deadly weapon out there. And then it's got me better with my feet because you got to learn how to move your feet and use your core, how to move around because if you're just a sitting duck, they're going to kill you on the mat. So it's taught me how to use my feet, which you can see in the football film. I can jadder step, and then I can use my hands to one arm you, pop you off the line because I can get heavy hands. And then it's taught me how to get like more in shape because I can go longer drives and use my feet and run endurance. And it gave me that mentality because wrestling is no easy man sport. Crazy mindset to just go out there and want to it's basically you against the world. It's just you on that mat. There's no one else. You can't blame it on the teammate. You can't blame it on the coach. You can't blame it on nobody. It's just you and the other guy. And so it just gets you ready for everything, and it gets your mindset, your hands, your feet. Wrestling overall, I try to tell my teammates that play on D-line with me or O-line, I'm like, just wrestle. You don't got to compete, just wrestle. I'm like, just come to practice. I'll wrestle with you, do a little bit, and that's it because it really gets you ready. And plus, it helped me a lot because during the wrestling season, I lose a lot of weight. Right now, I'm 255. I'm trying to shoot for 260. But during wrestling season, I'm 240, lower 240s, and I wrestle in the 285 weight class. And when I went to Texas, it went all the way to 300. And so I have to wrestle against bigger guys, and so it's taught me how to think while like competing and doing stuff. Because like I'm wrestling somebody that has 50 pounds, 60 pounds on me, and I got to use my hands, use my feet, move around, tire them out, and so it just helps on the football field. It helps pick out your opponent, look and see what his flaws are and what he's good at, and just pick them out. And so I'm thankful to my wrestling coach and the wrestling program. I'll forever say that because they really I would not have 3 stars and be getting offers if it wasn't for them.
Gotta love that mentality, and you're gonna if you end up going SEC, that you're gonna be facing bigger guys. So that's great to hear. So, what has your communication been like with defensive line coach Jimmy Lindsay since your camp visit and offer to Columbia in June?
We text a little bit after it was time for where I forgot what date it was. I remember it so perfectly, but I forgot now. But when it was recruiting time, where they can finally talk to class 2024, he shot me a text and texted my parents, and we were chatting up a little bit. He's trying to get me up there to South Carolina, and I'm trying to see when's a good day for me to come up there because I live in Mississippi. I go to school in Tennessee, so I live in Mississippi. And so it's like I got to figure out when's a good time to shoot up there and and all that. But we've been constant, like he'll text me to have a good game, and I'll tell him I'm watching the game on TV. And so we've been having a good connection.
And any other assistants you've been keeping in touch with other than Coach?
No, sir. Just Coach Jimmy Lindsay.
And obviously, as you know, relationships are king in college football recruiting. Is there anything further you could say regarding your relationship with Coach Lindsay and what he's established with you so far during the recruiting process?
Naturally, I feel a connection with Coach Jimmy Lindsay because I remember where out of the blue, because I was not even thinking about going to South Carolina camp. I wasn't even going to go there, go on the trip to Georgia at all at first until he contacted me, and I was like, oh, okay. And usually when I saw the camp invite, I was like, pfft. But then I saw his name. His name was Jimmy Lindsay, and it's spelled the exact same as my grandpa, who I call my pawpaw. His name is Jimmy Lindsay, and it's spelled the exact same way. And I love my grandfather. He's my role model. And then when I saw that, I told my mom, and I got on the phone with him. We started talking. I was like, yeah, I got to go. And then my grandfather was like, I got to see this Jimmy Lindsay. And so it was amazing. We went up there. We talked. He took a photo with them, and they called my pawpaw the OG Jimmy. And then they called him the other coach Jimmy number 2. And it was funny. We got a picture. And so I naturally had a strong connection with him when I heard his name because it was the same way as my papa, and I love my grandfather.
So what you're telling me, that's a great story. I love that. But what you're telling me is you're trying to make it up for a game visit for this season?
Yes, sir.
And do you know what the status of that is right now, or is it kind of still up in the air?
It's still up in the air. I want to say we're most definitely coming to one, but it's still up in the air as of right now because we're all split up in the house. And so we're all split up in the house, and we're trying to figure out when our schedules align so we can try to shoot up there. And then we're trying to figure it out.
I hear you. And if something doesn't work, you can always come back during the summertime for an official or whatever.
Yes, sir. I most definitely will swing by during the summertime.
Yeah, so, I mean, that'll work out. And so what was Lindsay's main recruiting pitch to you about, potentially playing for the University of South Carolina?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Did Coach Lindsay have a main recruiting pitch about South Carolina to you?
Not really. He told me about, I asked a lot of questions about the scheme of defense he runs, and it's kind of similar to mine, except for my school runs a 3-man, and they run a 4-man, and it's just, when they took me around, I think I went on almost a 3-hour tour around the whole city of Columbia, and it was amazing. It took my breath away, and so after that, I was pretty hooked on it, and so whatever he said, I was already reeled in, and he was talking about the defense and talking about the program and this and that, and so I was already hooked, and then he talked about the camaraderie and all that, and I was just loving it, and so I was just excited at the end when he told me I got that offer. And
you've seen Shane Beamer and the South Carolina Gamecocks on TV and kind of that Beamer ball. What are your thoughts on the culture that Beamer is building and establishing within the University of South Carolina football program right now?
I love it because I've been keeping up with it. I was seeing how he's trying to build a program and all that because I was seeing who's all he's recruiting and all the defensive people because I was trying to see what other defensive guys he's picking up other than just me and what program he's trying to build. And I see it's coming together. I watched this Arkansas game and Georgia game, and it was pretty good. I know it was losses, but I was looking past the loss. I was looking at how they play and how he coached and all that. And so he's trying to put a team together, and I see what he's doing.
It's just what's going on with you and Memphis University, those Nashville schools. It's like the SEC.
That's what I was saying. I can see it. I can put it in my school because we had a super young team, and we're trying to put it together, and so I can see what he's doing, and so I understood that it's going to take time because he's trying to build a foundation, and he's trying to build on top of that. And I can see that when the whole recruiting, all the people he just brought in, all those prospects he brought in during the summer, I could see what he was doing, trying to lay that foundation out. And so I respect that.
And Dion, what over anything would be your number one draw to South Carolina? if you were to sign there?
I feel like my number one job is to give it all I got, and if my teammates are giving it all they got, I'm gonna give it all I got, and I'm gonna lay it on the line for the team, and I'm just gonna make my teammates better, make the next man next to me better, and I'm just gonna keep grinding. I live with that relentless effort, so I'm gonna give it all I got, and that's my only job there, just to get better, make the program better than what it was before I got there, make a legacy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
And you've seen Williams-Brice Stadium. What are your thoughts on the atmosphere at Willie B?
Oh, don't give me, it is amazing. I loved it. I saw the stadium. That is the biggest stadium I have seen. I toured around it. I saw it while I was under construction. They're putting some LED lights on it. I saw the video they had of it when they had a white out the towels and they're shaking the towels. I love that. I'm really wanting to come to a game and see that. I just love the atmosphere, and I love how it's like a small little like country laid back town, but it's also a city because it's like the capital of South Carolina, and it's like the whole town is there in that stadium, and it's packed, and everyone's happy and roaring, and it's just amazing. And so I love the stadium.
Yeah, and I can promise you, being in the upper deck, you can see the trees in every direction. Then there's the skyline, and the country's 5 minutes away, and you definitely put the whole city in the terms that locals would describe it. So with that being said, you seem to like South Carolina, but some good options on the table right now. Mom went to Ole Miss, but we're probably not there yet on deciding the final school. But to what degree of confidence could you see South Carolina, making a top 5, kind of edited cut schools list? Got to cut off some of the schools that you're not really interested in. What would you say about that with the Gamecocks?
What, with South Carolina being top 5?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's 100% one of the top 5 options.
And potentially even further, you might say.
It's really up there. Like when I was touring there, it was pretty good. I loved it, and I haven't had any other opportunity of another college giving me a tour like that. I saw many interest, but now it's in my top 5. I really haven't thought into it like that yet, but it's definitely in my top 5.
And Dion, do you have any sort of timeline for you planning to make an announcement on a cut schools list?
Not yet. I was going to talk to my coach about it. He mentioned it a couple of days ago, and he was like, "But I don't think we got to that time yet." He was like, "We're gonna have to." He was like, "Eventually, we have to start making a cut list." And he said, "But I don't think we got in there yet." So I don't know yet. I think we're going to start with that during the off season. But as of now, I haven't been thinking too much into colleges. I've been just thinking about perfecting my team, getting it better, and trying to shoot for that state title.
That's what matters most.
Yes, sir.
And Dion, any final thoughts for the South Carolina Gamecocks fan nation?
Go Spurs.
Yes, sir. Well, Dion, great catching up with you, and as your recruitment continues, we'd love to hear from you more. And good luck during the rest of the season, and hope you go get that state championship.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
Yes, sir. You too.
Yes, sir.